Hello, hello. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day today. This is going to be the second episode of our podcast that still doesn't have a title yet because I'm not creative. But we have a couple new faces, so we're just gonna get through and kind of introduce everyone again. I introduced myself last time, but we'll go through the new faces. So we'll start with Hayate. If you want to introduce yourself, any how long you've been playing fighting games, anything along those lines.
My name's Hayate. As far as long as I've been playing fighting games, oof, like, okay, Claire, like, you mean in general?
Competing, whatever. Just I know that's a really like hard question.
Mm,
when we
Yeah,
when we
I'm
all
like,
first asked everyone that, we were like, "Ooh, how long has it been?" And then we all got scared because we realized it was more than 5 years, and then we all felt old.
hmm, I mean, maybe like overall, kind of, I would say since I've been probably like maybe like I don't know. I was little when that happened. I don't remember what age that was,
All right.
but competitive wise, I want to say I ain't really started until probably like what was it? Maybe season two of Tekken 7. I want to say I started possibly taking kind of kind of trying to compete.
Yeah, so that's about oh gosh, like 6 years, just right?
Uh, mm, yeah. Oof.
Sounds about right for that. All right, not bad, not bad. All right, and we're gonna move on down to the other new person that's gonna be on this. Welcome, welcome. It's gonna be Shen. If you want to introduce yourself a little bit.
Hi, I'm Shen or Shengon. I've known about fighting games since Street Fighter 2, maybe around like mid 2000s, and I didn't really start playing, uh, didn't like take the game seriously, fighting games in general until like maybe 2011 or so. But I didn't start competing until I think around 2013. I mostly started with platform fighters first, and then fighting games around maybe 2016, 2017, and then ever since then. And I mostly do speedrunning now, and that's what I've been up to.
All right, not bad, not bad. And then for the other two that was in our last episode as well, we're gonna get those introductions again just to get a little refresher. Ingress, if you want to introduce yourself again.
What's up, y'all? It is Ingress, and I was here. Last podcast I was here. I'm just gonna reintroduce myself, but I've been playing fighting games competitively for about 7 years now. It sounds like a long time, but
Yeah, yeah.
you know, it's just scratching the surface from what I've been told. So, um, yeah, I have been playing more than just Tekken. Well, back then I was, but now I'm playing Tekken full time. I mean, I might play a little fighting game every now and then, but yeah, that's mostly about me.
All right, and then just another refresher for Sonic.
Right, quick reintroduction. My name is Sonic Blade, and I started playing fighting games during 2011. First fighting game was Virtual Fighter 5 on the PS3 with my sister. Quick lore. Um, and then overall, I started really taking seriously with fighting games during like let's say 2021 when I started going to college and my college started doing FGC tournaments like I kind of started with Smash Bros, the platform fighter, and then I started taking more Tekken and Street Fighter seriously later on through the year, and yeah.
All right, all right. Now that everyone's introduced, I have our topic today is going to be questions, from people that aren't in the fighting game community for the FGC, and none of the people in this call know what the questions are. Just to make it a little interesting and having it on the spot, we'll start off with a nice little get our Nice little easy start. So the first question is going to be, is it necessary? And then it says, like in parentheses, at a competitive state, to have to play on an arcade stick rather than a controller? Whoever wants to start.
I'll go first. Um, Personally, I think it's preference. I see it a lot on like social media where people are like, "Oh, if you play on this, you'll be a better player." I personally don't think that it's like a necessary thing. It's all preference at the end of the day. Um, I will say like for somebody like me, I I've always grown up playing fighting games on like a pad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as I got older, I started to realize like, I mean, like I said, and it is preference. Me, I got tired of my pads, like my controllers, like, my D-pad being pressed in a lot. So this used to happen to me with a lot of 2D fighters, especially like Street Fighter. Well, Street Fighter wasn't so bad, but like tag games like say like Marvel versus Capcom, right? Or
Uh-huh.
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah.
Um, those games are I would say, in my opinion, execution heavy because you have to, you got three teams and your combos can get crazy and you know how it goes. And then there's a certain way that, you probably play or it's probably like a certain character what I'm trying to say, like a certain character that has like these crazy inputs and stuff. You get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, for like
So
movements, like Mishima players compared to like, a
right,
Fang player, you don't have to use as much as a D-pad, as if
right,
you're playing a
exactly.
Mishima. Yeah.
It's kind of sort of like doing electrics with Jin, Mishima's like you said. So, I switched over to arcade stick. I say I started I didn't really switch. Well, when I first started playing Tekken 7, right? I
Mm-hmm.
switched like getting close to around season because that was a long time ago, dude. I'm trying to remember. I remember when I got my first arcade stick, and it was not the biggest arcade stick. It was one of those small Hories. I remember this. And
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, dude, like it was super small, but not to like steer away from the question because I mean it's still the same thing. So I used to like I wanted to learn how to backdash, like Korean backdash, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could never really get the concept down on pad. So I was like, maybe I'll be a better player with the arcade stick. So the back of my mind, I'm like, this just like learning the game all over again. So I used to always like switch back from pad to stick, pad to stick, pad to stick. I used to hate it. So like I said, it's purpose at the end of the day. I hate it. I hated relearning the game on a different or like a different controller that's like super foreign to me at that time. And so so now like what technically 7 years later, now I don't even look at my pad anymore. So like at the end of the day, so at the end of the day, like it's foreign to me now. Like the pad is like super foreign to me. I'm like, dude, what do I even do on this thing? So um like I said, it's preference, right? So it doesn't matter if you're good on the you could be good on the pad or you could be good on the stick. It doesn't really matter. It's just that people get that concept twisted where they just think, oh, I could just pick up this pad here. I'll be like the best so and so player of this game or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So
And oh, sorry, go on.
no, you good, you good. I was gonna finish it off with just saying like, shoot, I can't. You know what's funny about me? Very funny story. I cannot play 2D fighters on an arcade stick. I
It's
just can't.
crazy.
That's funny, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm the exact
I,
opposite. There's no shot I'm playing it on pad,
I
but
and I like,
I'm in the same boat as you, Ingris. I can't play that unless it's on pads, man. I can't play 2Ds on stick.
bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, and it's funny is because I bought a whole arcade stick just for 2D, and I can't do it. Like it's just hard. So
Mhm.
my brain goes back to playing on pad. I don't know how I get it to happen, but it just happens.
All right,
But
all right.
you know, but like I said, it's preference. You know, for Tekken is different. Street Fighter and 2D fighters in general. Yeah, I'm going back unless like I get a hitbox or something. But oh yeah, and speaking of that, speaking of hitbox is a lot more accessible if like okay, how I'm trying to say it. So hitboxes are a lot more accessible for people that have like disability. That I would not take from them if they're trying to learn like an arcade stick. That is the main go-to thing nowadays.
Mhm.
So um if you are learning, like if you're watching this video, I I would recommend that if you have like carpal tunnel or you have like arthritis in your hands or your wrist is real like real bad, like you can't really because arcade stick you got to use your body sometimes. So it's like the hitbox solves all that for you. So it's just like it's like a keyboard almost, but it's an arcade stick layout. So
Yeah.
I would say, there's like I said earlier, preface, it doesn't matter. You could be good with any one of those. So I'm gonna take the I'm gonna go ahead and hop off the floor, let
All
somebody
right,
else
all
have it.
right.
So there you go.
And going back with what you said, like for example, how some characters have crazier execution needed, and for some, because of that specific reason, people will pick up an arcade stick or a specific fighting game and stuff. One I know in particular that's it's a meme and it's really funny. For those who are newer to the scene, there is a fighting game called Blaze Blue Central Fiction, and there is a heavy execution character in there called Naoto, aka the killer of PlayStation pads. The
The
amount of
card counters. Oh
yeah,
Lord.
the amount of goofy like dashes you have to do with all of his conversions, it really goes to wear and tear on a on a pad. So I know some people that either go through a lot of pads or have like, yeah, I just picked up an arcade stick specifically for this character when I play, which is really really funny. But I'm gonna pass it off to Sonic. How do you feel about that question?
All right, all right. So let me piggyback from Ingress and Hayate. Okay, certain games I cannot play on stick on 2D. Certain games, big certain games, like Street Fighter. I don't know how you do it, y'all. I don't know how to do it. Like my brain cannot like freaking compute, freaking doing it on Street Fighter. It's so hard. It's literally there. But certain games I can do it. Like Strive, I can do it. Unit, I can actually really do it, which is surprisingly weird. But over with that question, it really is depending on preference. Like certain games I play on pad. I still play pad to this day. I've been playing pad since like I was like 5 years old, like 2000, like 10 or something, pretty much.
That
Like
oh, don't
I love
say that.
pad.
You're so young. Oh my.
I'm so young. I don't care, but still, it's like I
Oh,
love
it's okay.
pad.
It's okay.
Pad is amazing. It's like even though I go through like 10 controllers, which is terrible, but pad just makes. I'm just so used to pad. Like my brain it just and I'm like goes to pad, but since I got an arcade stick recently, like around not too recently, but at least like 3 months ago, big gift from my friend. I like it for certain games. Like I can really play it good on Strive, pretty decent on Tekken and Uni. I might give Street Fighter one more shot, even though I almost gave up because I think it's really hard. But that's besides the point. But overall, it really does depend on preference, what you like, and what you really prefer.
Okay.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I do understand where you're coming from. I play everything on arcade stick, but to this day, possibly the hardest fighting game to play, which sounds a little goofy at first, that I've experienced learning on arcade stick was Mortal Kombat X, because the way my button layout was, and if I had to enhance down back 3, I would have to stretch my pinky out to the far right button, so
Oh
it'd be
yeah,
like
because
Oh,
no, because you had to
that
press
sounds super
the
uncomfortable.
R2 button
yeah,
because
so
that button say, "Oh no."
yeah, so it'd be like thumb and pinky to do like down back enhance 3 on a Leatherfacer. So it was
Oh
pretty
my
silly for that one. But yeah, how do you feel about that, Shen?
So coming from a plat fighter background, back in the day, that was before any leverless controllers existed because of people messing up their hands from playing Melee and stuff yet. So everyone just had GameCube controllers. So I grew up being used to that. Then eventually switching over to like other types of pads and stuff. Um, but I've never owned a arcade stick. Uh,
Oh wow.
and so I think like the question, it's like half of it when everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it's just preference." Like that's completely true because like in the moment when you're playing the game and like nothing else matters, it's totally just preference. Like maybe on leverless controllers, there's like some stuff that's easier to do because you can hit left and right, up and
Mhm.
down like immediately at the same time, pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, but like other than that, it's totally preference. But where it matters, I feel like, is everything outside of the game. Because, like Sonic was talking about, if you use pads, you're probably going to have to replace them way more often than if you had a arcade stick.
Okay.
So it almost kind of matters more in like a monetary way than actual like playing the game kind of way.
Yep.
Hmm.
So like it sometimes like it depends. Obviously, people should just do whatever they want to do, but like investing in like a leverless or arcade stick might be better in the end. Coming from someone that plays on pad.
Okay. I genuinely, this whole time I genuinely thought you played on stick, so that's a really,
Nope,
that surprised
never.
me. Oh,
Only
all
in
right.
arcades long
Only in
ago.
arcades. Okay. And to kind of go respond to that, it definitely is because one of the most cracked out, and I thought it was a joke for the longest time until I realized, I was like, oh wait, it's real. One of the most cracked out uni players that I played in Uniclear, Pushy, Pushy Go for those who know, played on a GameCube controller.
Oh yeah.
Character
uh,
with
Wait,
negative edge
what?
in charge.
yeah, played a charge character on a GameCube controller,
Oh,
and
goated.
That is insane, yo.
Pushy's so sick. Oh, but yeah, just that whole thing, that alone. But yeah, I'd like to pass it off to you, Hayate. How do you feel about that?
I'm gonna say I feel like it's. I mean, the piggyback off, it's really a mixture of both what Ingress and Shin said. It's like a mixture of a whole. It can be a monetary thing, and it can be a personal preference type deal. It can be either or, for real, for real. Mainly because for me personally, when I was just kind of fumbling around with Tekken Tag Tournament 2 during like the end phase of its life cycle, um, one of my buddies did me a solid and sold me one of his arcade sticks for like probably like $40 at the time. It
Oh
was
wow.
a yeah, you know the Street Fighter Cross Tekken arcade sticks, the
Oh
PS2.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He sold me that thing. So I ended up using that because he saw a post I put up on Facebook one day. I had finally decided on one of the characters I was gonna play, and you and Ingress and Sonic, majority of you guys in here know who it ended up being. So
Hmm.
he saw my post and was like, okay,
Hmm.
because my initial post was when I went through Leo's whole move list for Tag 2 at the time. my thumbs were on fire. I was like, oh my god, I need something else to use
No.
instead of like I'm like I don't I used to enjoy having my thumbs feel like this. Not anymore. No, I want to play other stuff like platformers and stuff with my thumbs as well. Like hold on. So it was a bit of a learning curve, but it was kind of fun as I went along with it because now I was able to be like, oh, I'm supposed to press this button and this button rather than rubbing my thumb over the controller and hope that it reaches the other side in time before the movement
Yeah,
starts.
yeah.
I can just be like, pow, pow. Oh, like, oh, okay, this is cool. I can just do that.
Yeah, that's
Other
a
than like, I mean, for a time, I had to kind of flip flop between the two of them until I got fully used to it, to the arcade stick anyway. But it definitely saved me a lot of money because man, the amount of pads I went through. Like I still have an old like shoebox full of like old pads that I went
Oh
through.
my goodness. Me are the same for real because
Yeah,
I also have like a big bag of all my 15 or 10 controllers just
That's that's
with
mad funny y'all say that because I
oh
went
no,
through, let's see, one, two, three. I went through like 5 pads.
Oh,
bro. The
PS5, not
pad.
PS5, but PS4 pads though. I
that's
went through
crazy.
5 of them, and then so like the last one that I had, it was a gold one. I was
oh,
I was like, nah, bro, that one is not getting messed up. It got messed up anyways because I'm
No.
playing. It's like casually, I'm just playing a game, bro, and it just, I mean, ain't nothing I could do. Like,
And
Oh
it just
man.
breaks. It just sucks. And you know what the worst part is? The only controller that never broke on me for so long is from 2011, my PS3 controller that has not broken
It's
since
holding it down.
bro,
2011.
Fingers
those
crossed it
PS3,
stays that way.
those PS3 pads were like the
They're
goat, bro.
just
oh
they're just
yeah.
sturdy. They're way sturdy
Bro,
than the new
yeah,
pads we
they're
have.
super sturdy. You know what's funny? I'm gonna tell y'all something funny. So I have a friend in the scene. He he bought, let's see, he bought some old school PS2 pads, right?
Mhm.
And he would literally like he would literally change the shell like because he played Smash, so it makes sense. He used to play Melee, so Melee players would change their pad, not like the, how am I saying, the shell of the controller, right? They would change that.
Mhm.
And so now here's something very, very funny. You're gonna laugh about this one. So he used to take him with him to tournament. He used to have like a bunch of pads in his book bag in case one of them got messed up, and he would take it to like major tournaments with him. And so also Spirogen used to do the same. He still does that. Spirogen
Yeah.
plays on a PS1 controller, dude. So that's even funnier, right? So you're just looking at it like, man, do they ever change controllers? But I don't know. They probably do. They probably don't. But it's just very funny to me because we talk about controllers.
Just to
It just,
carry around a whole plethora
yeah.
of control.
Like, I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, wait, you know what? I can't even be mad because that would be me or arcade sticks. Like, if like, I had a real bad arcade stick problem,
Uh-huh.
because it happens, right? It's happened to everybody in
It
here,
does
like
happen,
at,
yeah.
at a tournament, like your stick will malfunction when you're playing the game, or one of your buttons will fall out, or your button just stops working, because that's happened to me. So I
Yup.
understand, but I just think it's funny that they carry a whole bag of controllers, like,
That looks so goofy, probably.
bro. But hey, look, I mean, they just like us arcade players, arcade
That's
stick
true.
players, man. They carry around their stuff like we carry around ours,
Mhm.
So,
That's true.
I
but
keep an extra cable with me when I go to tournaments in case either that my cable I'm using goes out or I end up losing my first cable. I always
yep,
keep a spare.
yep. See, smart, smart. And it's funny. So, now that I ain't trying to, like, stay away from
No,
you
you're
know,
good. Don't even worry
but
about it. Yeah.
it's just a sidebar. So, so, uh, FedEx, right? Shout out
Uh-huh.
to FedEx. So FedEx, he stayed with me and my friend Showmatic one time, right? So I was like, kind of questioning like, why is he bringing all these tools? And so what was crazy was this man just already knew in case he kind of FedEx smart, man. FedEx is real smart. So I didn't think of this until he brought it to my attention, but he didn't like bring it to my attention, but it got my attention, but he kind of sort of brought it to my attention, right?
Yeah.
So he had like all these tools to like fix his arcade stick in case anything went crazy, or he had like an issue, or he wanted to switch something out,
Yeah, it's this
you
emergency
know,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So what's funny was seeing him do that made me do the same thing when I got home. I was like, wait, I should do what he just did. So that kind of inspired me to like take my stuff with me to tournaments in case like I have a problem or something. Cause you never know. Like we could be at Combo Breaker and we're like thousands of miles away from home.
Out of
And
pools, doing great, and then all of a
yeah,
sudden,
yeah, your arcade stick's messed up, right?
mhm.
So I'll give FedEx that. He's very smart when it comes to that, because like I said, pad players, they're doing the same exact thing, bringing their tools and changing their stuff out, fixing their stuff. So now this still goes back to preference, like if you're looking to shop for an arcade stick, shoot, right now is the best time. But if you're looking to shop one, you probably would have to, it's going to come with stuff like this you got to deal with, right? Like fixing your arcade stuff. So like Shen said, it's a monetary decision. So I mean, for me, I love my arcade sticks. I got like 7 of them. Funny story. But anyways, I got a whole bunch of arcade sticks that I haven't even touched, but like my main arcade stick is in my arcade bag right now. So like I said though, it's a monetary decision, but it's going to come with a lot more things you got to worry about. So if you're ready to throw cash, then hey, be my guest, be your guest. Just do what you think is good for you. So that's where I'm gonna end that at. So
That's
there you
true.
go.
That is really really good, and just also mention that because everyone's I guess already used to arcade stick players bringing
Mm-hmm.
extra tools and stuff. So for those who might be listening or have not gone to like big tournaments like that and stuff, that aren't aware, there are pad players who bring extra cords and stuff as well. In case anything happens along those
Mm-hmm.
lines. Final thing I wanted to add before we go on to the next question of that is there is a lot of proof out there as well for those who are still trying to either get into the scene or feel intimidated because they don't have a Kwamba dragon or anything. There's I don't want to say hundreds, there's thousands I would say of tournaments where players have won using a pad against a person with an arcade stick, all kinds of fighting games too, not just like one
Mm-hmm.
fighting game. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of physical proof as well that you don't need an arcade stick to hold it down at high level when it comes to these tournaments. There's even like top players in America play pad. Like it is a thing that there is actual evidence behind it too, where there's strong players on arcade stick just as much as there's incredibly strong players on pad. So that is the first one. Hope everyone's doing good with that, because we're gonna rise it up a little bit more interesting question. Second one is, what do you do to prepare for a tournament? I'm also gonna add in there like / local online tournament, in-person tournament, doesn't have to matter. But yeah, what do you do to prepare for a tournament? Shen, if you wanna start us off.
Um, So I guess I'll divide it into two aspects. I'll start with locals. Um, so I guess it depends. So first of all, you got to bring your gear and stuff, you know. But
Uh-huh.
you have to figure out how you're getting there. Um, is it far away? Is it nearby? Are you driving? Are you carpooling with someone? Um, big piece of advice that I didn't learn until having to suffer through it a few times is if you're driving, make sure you figure out the parking situation because sometimes you'll have to park on a street nearby, or there's going to be like a designated like parking structure, or if it's like a big venue, maybe they have their own parking. Um, but like make sure you know what's going on before you get there, and then to figure out what you're doing, and then you're late, and then you get DQ'd or whatever. Um,
That's a good one, actually.
yeah, because I've been to a bunch of different places that some were nice and easy, and some weren't. So uh, I think that's a really big thing to think about.
Uh-huh.
Um, bring water. Water's good if you plan to not O2 and then peace out immediately.
That's very yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I guess like mainly for at least local tournaments is just focus on having a good time and like uh, just you're all there to enjoy whatever game you're entering. Um,
Yes.
and you're probably not gonna win, and that's totally fine. You know, after enough time, uh, getting used to all the other good players that are there, maybe eventually you'll start winning, and then it's like okay. But just focus on having a good time first and foremost. Um, and for online tournaments, it's a little different because obviously you don't have to worry about parking. You can do whatever whenever. Um, it's a little harder because you kind of have to be on top of it for um, like check-ins, who your opponent is, how you're, depending on what game you're playing, how you like match make. Because there won't be like a TO calling for you or anything.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously, since there's nobody there, it's just you. And like you probably won't be talking to your opponent either. It's easier to get nervous, and there's no like, you know, you can just go hang out and play casuals afterwards when you lose, and you can't just go out and get some food with your buddies afterwards either. So I think it's a lot easier to get nervous in online environments, especially.
That is very interesting because I feel like it's the opposite for me, but I'll let you keep going.
I think that's all
Okay.
I got right now. I'm curious why you think it's the opposite though. Before you go on to the next
Uh
person.
okay, so I guess I'll go next because it is a part of my answer.
Yeah, go for it.
So for me, one thing that, and it's just a personal thing, so it might be different for everyone, but how I prepare for tournaments is I keep myself distracted until an hour before it happens, maybe. For example, let's say I have a local, it starts at 7 p.m. that night, right? If I'm thinking about it throughout the whole day, it's not that it ices me out, but it makes me anxious for the whole day. Even if it's, like I love like, going compete and everything along those lines, getting to see everyone again, see what everyone's up to and everything. Like I love all that, but thinking about it the whole day, I'm like, oh man, like butterflies in stomach. I get anxious,
Oh,
and then when the time comes, I'm already like I'm like, oh man, like palms are,
I feel you.
you
You've like
know,
made yourself super nervous before you could really get started.
before anything even happened. Yeah, so I know some people are different. Shout out to those people because I have no idea how they could do it. Or people that like practice a lot before tournament stuff. I cannot do that. It almost makes me perform worse. Whereas if it's like an hour in, like I'll do check-ins and whatever, right? Like I'll do all that, or I'll be like, hey, I'll be there and stuff. But if anything past that, like I can't sit with people before like I can't sit with people before a local and like play, because it'll before the actual tournament it'll make me nervous. I don't know if it's a mindset where my head's, you know, in
I
tournament
think I
mode. So
know.
if I lose those casuals in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, well that's I would have lost and been sent to losers. It's a very weird thing for me. Whereas, and I think that's why it's easier for me online, because online I could just like play whatever game until then, or like an hour before they're like, hey, everyone do check-ins. I'm like, oh cool, all right, I'll just do that, and I'll just relax for a bit until they say I'm up next. You know, I might just go get some food or anything. So I think that's kind of that's the reason why it's I'm a little anxious. But for what I do prepare for tournament, is this one's a big thing for me. I didn't think it was that big until I started experiencing it, and I was like, oh man. For me personally, I can't hear crowds behind me, because even though I'm playing my game plan and I know what I need to do, if I hear someone behind me that's like, oh, he should have oh, he could have gone for this here. In my head, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll go for that next time. And then I'll lose. And I'm like, oh man. So I always bring headphones. Headphones is a big thing for me, whether I'm listening to the game or I'm listening to like music or something. But headphones are a big one for me, because I will listen to what the crowd says, or I will just be, it'll just, not in like a bad way, like not in any way negative, it'll just distract me, where like someone could be talking about, I don't know, like someone could be talking about Tager, and then in my head I'm like, that is a pretty cool character, as I'm getting mixed mid tournament. Like it's just how my brain works. I have to be completely like hyper focused on that specific said thing. So that's a big thing for me, is headphones. And then, you know, of course, that's what I do, also prepare for a tournament. I don't really prepare the whole day around it, otherwise I'll get pretty anxious and everything along those lines. Food's always good. That's a good one. And then I would say a phone charger. The reason why I say a phone charger is sometimes people you've shown up with, like if you carpool with people at locals, they might have to leave early because they work tomorrow. So you might have to either catch a ride with someone else or Uber or anything along those lines. This personally happened to me. I won't go in depth. Almost got Ingress lost in Chicago. Shout out to that. Yeah. But we won't go into that.
The classic.
But yeah, no, there can be scenarios like that, you know, or let's say an emergency happens and the person who you carpooled with, you know, has to leave, and you're like, well, shoot, I was with them, you know, but I'm still in bracket or something. And it's like, say it's like a really expensive tournament, something like EVO, where it's hundreds of dollars you dropped in. It's really good to kind of always have your phone ready for, you know, if you need to do, you know, things like that, make certain arrangements. Even as far as like hotels and stuff, if your hotel said you're booked and then they were like, oh, actually we did the work wrong and that room's already booked, so you're gonna have to find something else. Like that stuff's really hard to do in the heat of the moment, like within a day time span, if your phone's not like at a good enough battery. I know that sounds a little silly, but it can get a little crazy. But yeah, those are gonna be my answers. I'm gonna pass it off to whoever else wants to start. We can start with Sonic.
I'll go.
Okay, that's fair.
So, for somebody that has been, oh boy, I got a lot, but I'm gonna try to narrow this down. So, for someone that has been competing for a very long time, um, so if you are going to prep for a tournament, Now, most of these guys already hit, you know, stuff, you know, the most of the important stuff. But for me, I think that I personally think that you should please get a good night's sleep. Please rest. Like
That's a good
y'all
answer.
y'all do not understand how many players I have seen like complain, man, I wish I would have went to sleep more. I wish I would have got a good night rest. So okay. So funny story, right? So one of my first few tournaments that I traveled to outside of town, um, I knew I had pools early, right? I think it's a DreamHack ATL. So this is like 2019, I think. Around 2018, 2019, 29. I'm gonna say 2019 maybe.
Uh-huh.
Only because that was when Marduk was a new character.
Oh,
in
yeah,
Tekken
yeah,
7.
yeah. So it was definitely around that time. Yeah.
Right. So I remember this. I was on stream, all of that. So I was on stream for Tekken War Tour, and I didn't know the Marduk matchup, so I couldn't really be mad about that. But the problem that boiled down to it was I didn't get enough sleep. So I remember it was me and a couple of guys. I can't remember who it was. I know Vesper was one of them. So I think Shadarian. Shout out to Shadarian and Vesper. So like, you know, we all, you know, stayed together. We all, you know, had a room, and we kind of crashed with like our Horong brothers. We all play the same character, so like, you
Oh,
know,
okay, okay. Yeah,
the
yeah.
same, the same tribe, so
Yeah.
so I remember crashing on the couch. I don't know where the other two crashed at. I think one crashed on the couch. I don't remember what the other one was. Like they were they were playing Tekken 7 to like 5 in the morning. I remember that
Oh,
I
man.
I was long, bro. I was long gone on the other couch. I was like in no point of return. I was knocked out, right?
Yeah.
So our pool was, so we all had different time pools, right?
Hmm.
So I literally remember this like yesterday. So I forgot to set an alarm clock because I knew I had to be up for pools. I kid you not, we were almost late.
Oh, no.
So we got lucky though because we woke up. I was like, yo, I said it's 9 o'clock. It's like 9 a.m. We gotta get up. Because like what was so funny was, so the Airbnb we were in, you couldn't really see the sun because of the shade like blocking the sun.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
it was like what I'm trying to say, it was like another building towering over the building that we were staying in. So I remember waking up. I said, "Yo, we're about to be late for this tournament," and I was like asking, "What time y'all got pools?" So they're like saying, "Oh, what time they got pools?" I'm like, "Bro, we haven't even ate yet." Like, oh yeah, and make sure make sure y'all eat, please. That's another one. Make sure y'all eat, man. Like, eat. Don't eat anything heavy where you're gonna be like super drowsy in tournament or very very tired, because that's a thing too. So like try to eat something light. Like eat light. Don't eat heavy because you don't want to be in a tournament and your stomach is hurting, or you just feel like
Oh, that's
you
the
have no
worst.
energy. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Trust
yeah.
me. You don't want to sit down and then you're just like, I don't even want to be here anymore. You just, I want to go to sleep because you ate too much, you know.
Uh-huh.
So for me, I had learned that if I eat lighter, I feel a lot better. So what I used to do is like, so when I go to Comma Breaker, I mean you could kind of sort of eat. Well, if you got 10 a.m. pools, you're good. So I used to get up early in the morning. I used to try to eat like a balanced breakfast. I would try to eat, something that's not like super heavy on my stomach. But
Yeah.
everybody has a different effect on their body, right?
No,
So
wait. What's the balanced breakfast for Ingress in
I
the morning before tournaments, man? What does
man,
that look like? What's it look like?
sometimes I don't eat, which don't be like me. Sometimes I don't eat, sometimes I do. But it depends on how I feel, right?
The
So
biggest mix up, a balanced breakfast is not eating. All right,
yeah.
noted.
That's the 50-50,
Right.
bro. What is the balanced breakfast for today? But
Just kidding.
so so for me, I would probably eat like maybe like a bowl of cereal or um like a yogurt parfait or something like that. Last time I had
Okay, this guy's rich. All right.
nah,
I know, right?
okay.
Yogurt
But
parfait.
Breakfast
no, like
option is a yogurt parfait. All
so
right.
yeah,
Right.
so last time I went to Combo Breaker, I had a yogurt parfait. It was pretty good too. But see, what made me feel good was I wasn't tired, and
Mhm.
and this time I slept good. The only thing that'll probably get you is people, like and like some venues are 24/7, right? And it's tempting to go out there to go play games or just to hang out with friends or whatever, right? But
Mhm.
because I knew instantly when I made it out of pools, I was like, okay, I have to take it serious. So, oh yeah, and then don't forget, man, it's okay. It's okay to, what I'm trying to say, it's okay to be nervous. Like, and now this is another way of like this is like preparation, right? Because you don't never know who you're going to run into in your bracket. I mean, if you don't know who the player is, but if you know the players, you can be like, oh yeah, well that player so and so beat me a lot, right? So you can't be afraid of what you don't know. Sometimes it's okay to lose, but that's for another conversation. But for me though, I that's how I prep. I prep with sleep. Um, I don't. I also learned that something that I learned about myself is I can't. It's hard for me to play when I know because I like to save my energy for the big tournament, right? So
Mhm.
I don't try to play any. I don't try to play any games of Tekken at all. Any fighting game, I don't care. I'm trying to vibe, bro. See, like I said, I'm different. Like, so sometimes it's annoying. It gets annoying when you try to like prep for a tournament and you're worried about, man, am I going to make it out of pools? Am I going, bro? Just chill, hang out with your friends, man. Like y'all don't have to talk about like Jan said, he has to do something to distract him, right? It goes back to this.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, bro, just hang out with your friends. Like, go out to eat, go laugh about some stuff. Like, take your mind off the tournament for a little while. It's okay. Some people get too nervous about, man, I'm gonna go 0-2, bro. I'm gonna go 0-2, bro. I used to be like that because I was like, I'm trying to make a name for myself. I'm trying to actually like see my progress in tournament. Like you want those results, right? It's cool,
Mhm.
but sometimes like you gotta take your mind off of stuff. Like on a mental side of the FGC, because nobody talks about it. If you take your mind off of the tournament, y'all hang out, go get some food, y'all laugh for a little bit, y'all come back. Trust me, you gonna wake up the next day, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm about to smash this tournament, win or lose. I promise you, it happens to me all the time, right?
Yeah.
So, and then one more thing is I will say is, um, there was another one that was on my mind. I would say if you are going to prep for a tournament, do not cram everything in your mind at once. It's like a test, right?
Mhm.
So when you're at home, you're at locals. You technically are already prepping for the matchups you know at home, right? That's cool. But what I'm trying to say is don't overdo it. Don't like over cram yourself with like trying to, it's like studying for a test the next day. Don't do that to yourself because if you do that to yourself, you're gonna lose confidence. it's like another way of like a mental thing, you know.
Yeah, it's
You're
gonna
gonna
be harder to perform and everything along
perform
those lines.
exactly like your mind, so like how I see it as like your body and your like your it's hand coordination. Like your mind might not be there, but your hands are, right? Your hands might not be there, but your mind is. You have to have all those together at once. I know it sounds crazy, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
So like when I'm sitting here at home playing Tekken, sometimes my brain is just stuck, but my hands won't move. Sometimes my hands won't move and my brain is stuck. It's the other way around.
It
But
does happen.
yeah, like there might be something that you're not sure about, and you just sit there and you get hit by a certain move. You're just like, dang, I let that hit me, But that's just the mental side of things. But like I said, um, you know, use your locals. That's another one. Just it's so like just use locals as like practice, and then when that major comes, do what you can to be efficient.
Yeah,
You
that
want if
makes
you
sense.
want to see your results, and you want to see your results. But that's enough for me. Yeah, if you make sure you eat, make sure you have fun, because that's the main one. Um, don't cram all this extra stuff. I mean, now maybe after the tournament, you could probably like play some casuals with people. That's fine. But don't cram like everything in all at once, because you're not. Trust me, you're not gonna know. You're not gonna know what the next player is gonna do.
Yeah,
And
it's a lot.
yeah, and that's all I really got, because it's it is what it is at the end of the day, win or lose. So there you go.
Hayate or Sonic? Would either one of you guys like to answer?
I'm gonna say something because we already know Sonic ain't even here yet. Watch.
I'm already here.
Oh,
What's
he's
up?
Nah,
here.
I'm
it
always
don't
here.
matter.
What are you
It don't.
talking about, man?
It
I'm always
don't
here,
matter.
man.
It don't
Nah,
matter.
it
You
don't
going
matter.
last. You going last because I already
I go
picked it up,
last.
bro. And you going last, bro. I picked it up already. It's my turn.
Oh my goodness. All right, you go.
Okay, so hmm, as far I want to say, at least as far as like locals are concerned, I mainly try to I just tend to try to get there a little early before like any like local event starts, because I got to get there early for two reasons. One, I gotta warm up. I get nervous if I'm just gonna be at the local not doing anything. Second, I got that early because they also had snacks like right next door from where my local spot was. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, I mean it wasn't that bad waiting on games when I just went next door. I can get me like a bag of chips, a big thing of water, maybe a Red Bull if I need it.
Okay.
We okay. Look, let's be real. We all know we probably had somebody gonna crack open an energy drink at some point during the night,
Oh yeah.
especially if
Oh
y'all
yeah.
play in the evening. You know you gonna crack open a Red Bull or two.
Mhm.
So there is that. And mainly, I need to warm up just to get the goofy stuff out of my systems. I got to knock off the cobwebs. I got to get the gears turning before the locals events going. Besides, I'm not gonna front. There's probably gonna be people that you'll probably see within like the first couple hours. Maybe it's just people who stop by because they know, oh, it's a group of dudes that just come here and play fighting games for a couple hours. So I'm gonna stop in for like 10, 15 minutes and leave. Who knows? You can get your warm up games on them. One
Yeah,
thing you
that's
could probably
true.
take, and then there's one thing you could probably take from locals all the way up until like big tournaments as well. Um, Kind of to piggyback off of what both you and English was going off of. While English was saying, get enough sleep so you can get up early, all that stuff. Y'all got the distractions. It could be a bit of both for real, because I have to get games in and distract myself if I'm at a big tournament, because I'm gonna be thinking about it regardless. I got to put something ridiculous on to distract me though. Like I'll legit will look up the song "I'm Here to Avenge Steve Irwin" and I'll just listen to that on loop while I'm in tournament play, just to
Okay, all right.
yeah. I will listen to the most ridiculous stuff I think of the dumbest reasons for it too, because I'm like, you know what? I can literally say I done beat somebody in a tournament setting while listening to Banana Shoes.
All right, I respect
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You see how ridiculous that is? I was telling that to the always be like, yeah, you know that an entire moment I was on stream, what I was jamming to was this. It's gonna be the most troll song of the world. Nah, no, I gotta have stories. I have to have stories. That
That's
and
fair. That's fair.
if you worried about people, I'd say knowing your character for the most part. Look at it. I say look at it as the whole. You know how people say like the what is it? The player is basically the pilot.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. The player's the pilot. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
good one.
you be like you can be like, nah, you don't fault that character, but you haven't fault me playing that character.
Exactly.
Exactly.
They
Exactly.
like you could play completely different as like the next dude who plays your exact same character. You never
Yep.
know, and you don't know what your opponent knows. So
Mhm.
That's a
That's
good one.
good. That's good.
in the words of Joe Swanson, there is no fear in this dojo. Go with that logic. You will have fun.
Okay.
That's a good
All
one.
right. You're next, Sonic.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this in a college standpoint, how I prepare for locals.
Yeah, by all means, all
Because
point of views would really help. So
all right, I always get some good sleep because okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big night owl during school nights. Is bad. So I think one time I had a local, I had a headache. Do not do that. Do not do that. But how I prepare is, I wake up, get some good sleep, get ready for school, go to my 2 or 3 classes or one, depending what day it is. So usually I have locals on Wednesday, so it's like one class. Eat a good meal. Eat a good meal. Take a nice shower because gotta get your shower jams going. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I prepare for local, I have to like take a good shower and then jam to my music.
Not not the button. Not the button. Not the
all right,
button.
all right.
Please take a
get some good.
shower. Please take a shower. I
Oh
beg
yeah,
you
That
guys.
please.
too. Yeah, that too.
True, yeah, true. Because I'm
Good
not gonna
hygiene
lie,
is very good at tournaments. Please.
please, because okay, not trying to point out people at locals or y'all go to, because like I'm not gonna lie, some people do be smelling, but I'm just not gonna point out some names. Not gonna point out names. I'm not gonna get them canceled or anything. But still, take a good shower, please, please. But I do that. I do distract myself like Jan and Ingress. So gotta piggyback real quick because I need to have a good mindset. Distract myself a little bit. And I
Okay.
also do warm up a little bit, depending on the game. Like if it's Tekken, I do warm up like a little bit, get my inputs ready, make sure my pad is still working properly, or if I'm getting ready for like a strap tournament, making sure my stick is still getting in shape. And then I usually carpool with my friend for most of my tournaments, so which is really good. And yeah, I think that's all my preparation for tournaments. I don't have like a big like tip besides like the shower thing,
Yeah.
but
Oh
like
And
wait, hold on.
oh,
I got you, Sonic.
okay.
Bring extra deodorant sticks because y'all
Oh
know
yeah, do
you
that too.
musty. Yeah, bring extra
that
deodorant
too.
sticks.
Do that, but yeah, but like still. Oh wait, still big tip on the sleep because like please like I remember I had a big tourney on like Saturday. It was one of like my a big local in my area called like Queen City Clash. It was the second one, right? And it was bad. I had like 5 hours of sleep, and I had like
Oof.
a big ass headache. I
Oh
was in a turn with a
no.
big headache, like it was bad. But
That is rough.
another good tip too: always bring aspirin because I had a homie who gave me some aspirin because I told him I had a very bad headache. He gave me some aspirin. Mind you, it was randomly expired. But hear me out.
Oh,
I took
okay.
the
All right.
aspirin. And guess what? Somehow my headache went away. It completely went away from expired aspirin. I was concerned. I was very concerned. It was like magical asprin. It was magical aspirin.
Is that what we're
But
calling
still,
expired now? Magical?
yeah,
Oh
All
snap!
right.
magical
Oh
aspirin.
snap! The increased potency high aspirin.
For
Man,
real.
please, please get some good sleep and make sure to take your meds if you got like any conditions or
So, for those who who have experienced a lot of tournaments, they might be like, yeah, all that's all really really good, and whatnot. And then for those who are on the newer side that either don't go to locals much or have not been to a major or anything along those lines, I've been to two majors, some pretty big locals. I would dare no three majors, on some pretty big four majors. Wow, sorry, four. I'm sorry, the number just four. I'll keep it at that. And some really big locals where, if you're newer to the scene, some of these tournaments, they're huge. I've done 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. tournaments, where you've had to face hundreds of different players. And this is just, in one game. Mind you, let's say you enter 3 games. Let's say you enter Street Fighter, Tekken, and Mortal Kombat. Most people know those games, right? Let's say, and they're pretty big tournaments. You have to compete in 3 different things against tons of different players, and your mind is just, going into overdrive, and it can be very very exhausting where, a good night's sleep is either make it or break it. And it's along the same lines, but when people compete in other sports, they you don't see a like a boxer have a match and then immediately go into like an MMA fight later that night. That's something that's very big with the fighting game community that people don't, or I guess that people really underestimate. If you're entering in multiple tournaments and you have a lot of matches that have to be played, and then let's say, great, you did well and you performed, that's even more matches you have to play. Or the most mentally taxing thing that we've all been through is making a run through losers bracket. That is so that can be so mentally exhausting based on who your opponents are, because you're gonna have killers on winner's side, and then based on how crazy the bracket is, you'll have tons of killers on losers side, all striving to get that really to get that win. So it is just even more like mentally exhausting for that. So it definitely can take a lot out of you. I've had a couple of times where I'm like, why am I so like tired? All I've been doing is just playing games, right? But like playing against it can really take a lot out of you. So that's a good answer. We're going to the last question, which is the most exciting question, because I'm really curious on what everyone's answer is about it, and it's a really good question. Final one is going to be, and I'm gonna try to word this, I might jump back and forth, but this is what's, and I hear it a lot too, and I'm sure you guys have heard it a lot from other people as well. It is, how do you remember all of those inputs for every fighting game / tips on remembering combos if you play multiple fighting games?
Ooh.
That's a good one. I know.
Okay, let me start. Let me actually start first. Okay,
All right, yeah, take the floor.
Let me start with the tips. Big tip: if you want to like really remember your combos and like your own frame data on the moves you like remembered, please like write it down on like a piece of paper, like a notebook. Even your phone sometimes. Like phone notes will really go a long way, depending on the phone you have. The brain you have. But for me, it's weird. I just have a very, very strong muscle memory.
Okay.
Like big example. Like okay, DOA. I haven't played the game for like, well, it has like recently, but like I haven't played the game for like 2 years, right? Like a big strong 2 years. Like I didn't even touch the game for like 2 years. I was focused on Tekken 7. And then when I got back to the game randomly, like somehow I just have a very strong muscle memory, And I just remember like every combo and like every combo setup, frame data, and punishment in the book on that game till this day.
I know. I
It
haven't
is-
seen you play it in years since we played, and you booted it up the other day and you were like, look at this crazy mix up. I was like, okay, well, he knows every single thing about it.
Yeah, I just somehow just remember everything.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy, but it's still like baked in. Like always, just write everything now. Like I have like a couple of friends who show me their notes, what they write for their character and their combos. Like they always have like their own BMBs. Like it's always good to do that.
Okay.
That's the
That's a
big
good
tip of
one.
the
That's a good one. Shen, would you like to answer next?
Yeah, so actually, I guess it's good that I go after Sonic with what he said because everybody learns differently. But for me, writing stuff down definitely does help, or like even just like a notepad doc on your computer that like you're never gonna look at ever again. Just like as you're learning stuff, writing it down. Especially another thing for people that aren't super versed in fighting games. Most games will have like a notation system um, of like a letter and a number or something like that for what each move is. If you're starting out, honestly, like just do whatever works for you. If you have to like describe what the move looks like visually to help you remember what it is, I would say go for it. Because if it's like, if you're just writing down like, okay, so I have to do this input to make this thing visually happen on the screen, and then I do this move into this move into this move, and then you just do it over and over and over again. Because like, there's a bunch of things in life that uh, you're used to doing, like especially if you drive, you're not really thinking about all the things that you're doing while you're driving
Yeah.
because you're so used to doing it.
Mhm.
Combos are kind of the same way, where like they look and feel intimidating at first, but it's just doing it a lot um, until it's something where you think about, hey, I want to do this, and then it just happens. You don't have to think about it anymore. That's my
Okay.
thought on it.
So I'll go next. So I think trying to, because I know it's really really hard sometimes, especially for me. I've played, a bunch of different fighting games with, like Shen mentioned, a bunch of different notations, a bunch of different characters in those fighting games. And I think one thing that is not really explained a lot that can maybe make sense to newer players is when you're playing a fighting game and you're doing a combo, there's going to be scenarios, no matter what the fighting game is, that are universal. And from there, you put pieces around it. And I'll go into depth a little bit with that. I'll mention multiple games so people can kind of get an understanding. So I'll just start off with Street Fighter. If you start a combo, Street Fighter 6 to be specific, since that's the newest one, and I know a lot of people have been playing that. I'll do that first. In Street Fighter 6, every character can combo, and they're all different inputs. But once you figure out how to combo in the game, it it builds into itself. Every character in Street Fighter uses drive to combo, and every character in Street Fighter uses their meter to combo. It's just based on when you use that drive or when you use that meter, and same thing with a lot of games where every single fighting game, there's going to be a counter hit. Now, based on the fighting game and the counter hit you got, do you want to do something small to set up for another scenario, or do you want to get as much damage as you can? So, and for example, and I'm mentioning this one because this is what I've been learning recently. Both of these games I've been learning recently. Virtua Fighter and Soul Calibur. Both of those fighting games have ring out options. Every single character in the game can ring out. When you're starting off with those games, you know, you have, like I said, every button can ring out, but when you're learning, you want to have your ring out button. You want to be like, all right, this is the button that I'm going to work around to use to ring out. And that works with every single scenario and every single fighting game, no matter what it is. For example, Tekken, one character can have multiple counter hits, but maybe you're comfortable with a specific counter hit. So you're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to use this one to start. And once I get comfortable with this counter hit, then maybe I'll implement other ones and branch out to see what I could do. It's kind of like for people for drawing, it's like, well, people who draw detail on or like muscle on like an arm that's bent compared to drawing those same things, but if they were wearing, a leather jacket, you have your situations where some things are going to be the same, but you have to add or take away stuff, like a little puzzle. You add or take away stuff based on that. And I think coming from a person who either doesn't understand like how fighting games work, and not in a rude way, but like someone who just, I just want to mash and have fun. I think they maybe like that doesn't come to mind as much as it comes to mind, with us, where if I'm learning a new game and I'm learning a new character. Let's say I'm learning a new character in Tekken and there's a wall ender that leaves a high splat so you get more damage. There's going to be, every character can do that, but based on, the character you're using and what you're doing, it's going to be a little bit different, but you're going to be already comfortable because in your head, you already know how the scenario is going to draw out. You might just have to tweak things here and there. And I don't want to steal the other two answers, but I've recently been doing it as well. I'll write down stuff too. You might hear that a lot, but I think it's because it's so underrated. I feel like most people don't. And even if you don't, like Shen said, even if you don't look back at it, there's something for me personally. If I were to do a combo and I'd be like, oh, okay, I learned it. Whereas if I were to do a combo and then write it down and be like, oh, okay, I learned it. For some reason, physically writing it down, even if I don't look back at it again, it just makes it faster or more comfortable for me to learn. I don't know what specifically it is behind it. But yeah, that is my answer for that. I know that was kind of a bit stretched, but yeah, if Ingress or Hayate want to take it, you guys are next.
I guess as far as like, I would say at least like learn combo systems and stuff like that are really, really honestly, I would say as far as like how even the fighting game is for me in general, I have to basically fill it out. Like I fall over the whole. It seems like at least for me, I pick up each character like for any type of fighting game. Let's say if I'll have one character that I'll just know like the back of my hand, and I pick up a secondary character. Um, I mostly try to figure out that other characters like flow as far as let's say their strings or inputs go. Because the one thing I've noticed playing at least fighting games in general, each character kind of has their own type of rhythm they get into when you start either start a combo string or whenever you start their what is it like, like when you start punishing moves, when you start figuring out what happens on like, oh, I can actually get you back for using this move, and I actually
Yeah,
blocked it. So
exactly.
now
Yeah, yeah.
I get to smack you across the face.
Yeah.
And you could be like, oh, the one character I play only gets like maybe like one ginormous hit off that, but the other character I can be like, oh, I can smack you across the face and then step on your foot.
Yeah,
Boom.
yeah.
And who knows if the other person doesn't know and you figure out like, oh snap, okay, this dude is over here just like stumbling over in pain. Let me see if I can just punch him in the gut a couple more times and see what happens.
Hmm.
Just stuff like that. It's kind of like, I guess, just really kind of finding out like stuff that you can just kind of do, or if you can just, I guess maybe try to. I don't know. I guess as far as remembering stuff for me is just the really building up muscle memory for me and stuff I just figure out overall. Once I see it a couple times and realize, oh, I can just keep doing this, I'll keep doing that and then just branch off from there and see what I can do, essentially.
Okay. And what about you to close it out, Mr. Ingress?
So for combos, what I do is I think well, what I used to do is I used to start learning combos from like what the game provides. So there's some games where like they give you combo trials. KOF is really good for this. Um KOF is one of those games where they will give you a combo trial depending on what the combo is, and you can sometimes use those in the game if you want to optimize your damage or any other situation like counter hit combos or any let's see counter hit combos. It could be like a mechanic combo, like a mechanic, right?
Hmm.
Anything that works. Most of the time, like the in-game stuff has combos for beginners, and maybe once you master the beginning combo, the beginner combos, you can move on
Yeah.
to like the intermediate combos. Once you finish learning the intermediate combos, then you advance pretty much like this the top of the actual bread and butter. So there is a like a level to these combos depending on what character you play, right?
Yeah.
And how I learn how to do my combos is sometimes I just will not play online. I still do it to this day where I'll pick a character. Like right now, I actually was learning Jack Jack combos, and because he's a new character, so his combo routes are a lot different. So I'll probably spend like a good hour, maybe hour or two, trying to figure out how his combo routes are. Because now here's some things that I'm pretty sure y'all covered this, but there are some combo routes that have a rhythm to it. So some characters have like you might have a delay combo somewhere. Like you might have to delay your combo some, or you have to do it like rapidly. Like there's some characters that have certain combo routes where you have to do it at a certain time or a certain rhythm or a certain speed. So and then sometimes you're not going to have a combo that works every single character too. So that is also a fighting game thing where some characters you have to adjust your combo routes. So that's where the fun parts begin. That's where the fun part begins because um what's a good fighting game? Like, Virtua Fighter, right? So Virtua Fighter has a sumo character. I forget his name though, but he is a sumo character and certain combos only work on him. I remember this because I experienced this for myself. And I would try to do my regular B, and I was like, wait, what happened to my combo? And then I had to learn that, oh yeah, this character here. Yeah, nice character, he's a squishy character.
Classic
So
experience, yeah.
yeah, same way with bears or like female characters with certain, you know,
Yeah.
it goes down the line. People trying to learn how to play fighting games right now, but um, yeah, me, I ain't gonna say I sit in the practice room all day because eventually you're gonna have to like test the character out for yourself, or and then there are some combos that people pick for themselves to do because that's what they're comfortable with. So like for example, right, I know what's crazy is I know all my characters combo routes, but I only pick a certain few that my muscle memory can handle at the
Yeah.
time. So
It's really
yeah, yeah,
good for like learning as well, because I know people could easily get overwhelmed when it comes to, like, yeah, you're doing this combo, but you're not doing what's optimal. It's like, well, this
right,
is
yeah,
optimal for
yeah.
me because it's landing.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, there's sometimes when you can't do an optimal combo. You have to change your combo depending on the situation too. So,
Yeah.
you're not gonna always get that big damage unless like you find a way to get the big damage. But um, you could definitely make it work.
Yeah.
It's just that like I was saying, you're not gonna get the combo route down within a day. I promise you, because it's happened to me where I'll play a character that I'm trying to learn, and then I haven't even covered the basics yet. I haven't even gotten to the point where I could play this character at its full potential. Sometimes it takes a while to like learn a combo or do a certain combo that you've been trying to do for like the past like week or so, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you just gotta take the slow route or shoot. Like I said earlier, use what the game is giving you for combo routes. Learn that first, and then maybe if you feeling confident, you can move up. Go look at some actual combos on like Reddit. Not even Reddit. Like if you're like on a Discord, if you can find a Discord channel for your character, or shoot Dust Loop. Dust Loop has a bunch of B&Bs too. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
So
that's a good website.
yeah, definitely. Or just go to YouTube and find your character and type in combo. Yeah, somebody got a whole combo, like a whole combo guide. I promise you'd be surprised for certain games. But um, if you feel comfortable with those combos, shoot, get creative with your own. You know, once you get to that level, because I promise you, sometimes like you'd be like, oh, I could just take this out here, but sometimes it might not be optimal. But if you're just having fun, just doing combos, and because some people do care, some people don't, but some people think that they know their character until somebody comes around and say, hey, nah, man, you doing this, and then you never know, you might
Yeah,
like it,
yeah.
you might like it, you might not,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. Everybody has a different type of style of how they play fighting games. There's no fighting game, I promise you that. So, but that's just how I see combo routes and stuff. You just got to practice the muscle memory. Um, you can't rush it because it's not a. I promise you, it's not a day thing. Now, unless you got like the enough experience in a fighting game to where you understand the mechanics and you understand like how to do combos, and if you're good, you're just really good at like picking up people, not people, but like if you're just really good at picking up characters combo routes and they're really, you know then you're set to go. Like you already got over the hard part.
Hmm.
So now you probably might want to move on to a different part of the character that you don't know. But combos are essential. Some people might not have the best combos, but like Jan said, it works for me. It works. So, but that's all I got. That's all I got.
All right. That was everyone, correct?
Yeah, I
I
did
just
think of
wanted to make sure.
one more thing though.
Oh yeah, of course, by all means.
So I was just thinking about how I tackle things now. I wasn't thinking about like when I was starting out. Man, I wasted the first 2 years of playing fighting games because nobody told me you're not supposed to find the coolest looking, slowest move in your kit. and start combos with that. Boy, I was so good. Jan, how much do you know about Ragna and
I know,
CF?
I'm pretty comfortable with notations. I don't know like frame data and stuff,
Do you
but
know what his 6C is? I was like, yo, this move is so cool. It like flips them into the air and you can do whatever the heck you want. And man, then I played games against people and I was like, I can't hit this like 25 frame mid against
yeah,
people.
25, 27 is
So,
like
just to save everybody a bunch of time, if you're new to fighting games, fast buttons are good. Try to learn combos from quicker moves or like, depending on what game you're playing, like there'll be moves that hit high or low. Try to just learn combos from safer, quicker moves first, and don't be afraid to experiment too.
yeah.
And find moves that you think look cool, and just mess around and see what works and what doesn't.
All right, all right. That's
Have
so
fun.
funny, but
I'm
all
not
right.
even joking.
I bet, man. That's right. I don't blame you. I was doing some pretty goofy stuff too. When I was first starting. But yeah, that is going to be the last of it. Hope you guys learned a lot, as well as got to hear some cool stories and experiences from all of us, for those who know us or those who just know us from the podcast. But we'll definitely keep this going. I don't know what next topic's gonna be. It'll definitely be interesting trying to keep it that way. But as of now, you all be safe, take care, and see ya.